Welcome back to the channel. Chad here, and I am here to talk to my Amex loyalists. Now, don't get that twisted. This is not about anybody who is Team Chase. The fact is, you're going to try to make comparisons, and it doesn't matter because this is for my Amex people. Now, you saw the thumbnail, and what I'm going to be exploring here is what I call the Charles Schwab Cashback Trifecta. Now, some people may say it should be common sense, but let's still dive a little deeper. So I'm gonna let the kid do her thing, and then we're gonna get into it.
Welcome back to my dad's channel. If you're new here, make sure to click that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to share.
Now, the Charles Schwab Trifecta is just exactly what it sounds like. It's an Amex Trifecta headed by the Charles Schwab Amex Platinum Card. Now, that is different from the Vanilla Platinum and the Morgan Stanley Platinum. Feel free to check out my playlist on the Platinum benefits. I actually cover a specific video where I talk about co-branding with the Platinum cards. Now, aside from which Platinum card you use to head off the Trifecta, nothing else changes. You still need the Gold Card and you still need the Blue Business Plus. Now, I'm not going to compare this to any of my other hybridized trifectas or alternate trifectas that I've covered either, because we're going to stay with this trifecta in comparison to the traditional trifecta, which is headed by the Vanilla Platinum. So first things first, this is still an expensive setup. It's still $945 a year. So you have to be cognizant of that. You have your workhorse food card in the gold, you have your catch-all in the blue. It's just something that you need to keep in mind, is that this is not going to be cheap. This is also what I would actually refer to as an endgame setup, that for people who like to travel, as it is still travel centric, but they want to be able to hedge, because as recent history has taught us, there could be a situation in which either A, you are not traveling as much as you used to, or B, you're not allowed to travel as much as you used to, which pretty much encompasses A as well. So this is definitely something to hedge, even though that this can still be used as a solid travel setup. So without further ado, let's get into some numbers. So now we've covered the fact that they both cost the same. But with this, we have to talk about American Express's dismal reputation where it comes to cash back, because MR points, while they're very valuable where it comes to airline transfer partners, they suck as far as cashback points, because American Express will only value them at 0.6, 0.7 if you're lucky, or if you've been good this Christmas. Who knows? But the fact is that they are notoriously not known for cashback unless you get a dedicated American Express cashback card that does not earn MR points. And then at that rate, you earn pretty stratospheric multipliers. So now the main difference here is that system-wide, your cashback is normally 0.6 cents per point when you use these in that capacity, when you use the MR points in that capacity. But the superpower of the Charles Schwab card is that through your relationship with Charles Schwab, they will actually account for you to get a redemption on your MR points at 1.1 cents per point, which is literally almost double what Amex is giving you. At one time, it actually was double before Charles Schwab or Amex, I don't know who the culprit is, but I will find out, decided to bump it down from 1.25 to 1.1. And even still, with that decrease, it's still better than using the Vanilla Platinum if you want to have a cashback hedge. So now with that considered, if you look at both trifectas side by side, from simply a cashback standpoint, you have to take all the multipliers, the average multipliers that you're gonna get, and we'll use the highest ones on each card, and you're gonna have to multiply them by 0.6, because that's all the value that you're gonna get out of it. So now your average, if you use the Platinum for travel, which is going to be your 5X, so that's going to be airlines, hotels booked through the Amex travel portal. If you use the Gold Card for its known multipliers, which is 4X on restaurants and US grocery stores, and you use the Blue Business Plus as your catch-all, you have to multiply all of their multipliers by a rate of 0.6. And with that, you end up getting an average of 3X with the Platinum, 2.4X with the Gold, and 1.2x with the Blue Business Plus. So now with all those things considered, those are your multipliers that you're getting because you're decreasing the value by using Amex's exchange rate. And considering all of that, you are going to need to spend just shy of $43,000 in a year with this trifecta in order just to break even on the annual fee cost. That's crazy. That is how low Amex values their own MR points for cashback. And that pretty much equates to spending about $3,600 a month. And that is just for an average return on your cards that you're using. So now with the Charles Schwab trifecta, because your points are now worth 1.1 cents, you multiply all the highest multipliers by that. So with the Charles Schwab Platinum, you get 5.5. With the Gold Card, on average, you're earning 4.4. And with your Blue Business Catch-All, you are earning on average 2.2 cents per dollar. So now with all of that, in order to make up for that annual fee, which is the same as the traditional, you don't have to spend $3,600 a month anymore. That now drops to about $2,000 a month because the spend required to make up the cost of the annual fees, if you take it all in cash back, is literally just under $23,500 a year, which is a much more manageable amount, especially if you're not a big spender. But let's just face it, if you have Amex cards, you probably tend to spend more than most because that's how Amex likes their customers. They're big spenders, so they make their money on interchange fees, even more so than interest. So these are things to consider, but those are the numbers. That shows you the power of the Charles Schwab cashback trifecta, one set in relief against the traditional trifecta. They're both the same price, one just requires less spend. You can travel on both, but if you can't travel, you still have some utility with the cashback angle. So now with all these things considered, I got a few pointers for you. Now I hold the Charles Schwab Platinum Card and it is my first one and only Platinum Card. I know people with multiples and people with business variants, but I simply have one because that is what my spend supports. But if I had to do it over again, what I would highly suggest to you, what I would have done was actually get the vanilla card first. And then if I needed to, I would do another application to get the platinum card. And the reason being is that the vanilla card and the platinum card count as two separate products as far as Amex is concerned. So if I could get a 100,000 point sign up bonus for the vanilla card, use that for a year, and then get the sign up bonus for the Charles Schwab card and get another 100 or potentially 150,000 points, that is me not leaving anything on the table. Give me that. So to sum it up, grab your vanilla, leave the Charles Schwab as a pocket ace, just in case your situation changes, but you like the setup and you don't want to get rid of it. So now also, in order to get the Charles Schwab Platinum Card, you have to have a relationship with Charles Schwab Bank. And I don't mean like there has to be one in your city. You literally have to have a brokerage account for it. Now, they want you to have a brokerage account. You're not required to have any other account, but that is how they're going to link the co-branded card to your Amex account. Because what will end up happening is that when you get cash back from your Amex account through your MR points, you're going to transfer those points over to your Schwab brokerage account, and they will transfer at a rate of 1.1 cents per point. That's the hook. That's the rub. That's how you get it. So now you're asking yourself, well, that's a brokerage account. You know, I don't buy stocks, I don't invest, yada, yada, yada. First of all, you should. Secondly, you really should. And the third thing is, we're just gonna do it 3 times. You should. But all those things considered, yes, you may not be able to take the money immediately because this is a rebate, but if you have a Charles Schwab checking, you can then transfer said money to your Charles Schwab checking, and now you have cold hard cash. That's how it works. That's how it's gonna help you out. So yeah, you gotta make a couple of extra steps, but I think it's worth it for the 1.1 hedge, just in case you can't travel anymore. And also, another thing with Schwab, when you do create that brokerage account, I would highly suggest, highly, and I mean really high, even if you don't invest, just buy one stock. Doesn't have to be super expensive. AT&T stock is less than $20 a share. You could buy Coca-Cola, great defensive stock that always pays dividends, but you definitely want an active brokerage account. Don't just get an empty brokerage account that makes no sense. Even if they don't deactivate you for it, it just simply makes no sense. It's free to hold. You can get something that will pay you, flip you a couple of cents every quarter, and maybe then you do get interested in investing. But it's a great way to get a great card and also open your eyes to other ways to dealing with money. Now also, remember, I said that when you cash out your points, it's a rebate. Now what that means, and everybody listen up, rebates are not normally taxed. Please contact your tax professional, but rebates are not normally taxed. So that money comes straight to you. No weird tax form in the mail at the end of the year like you get when you do all your referrals. You can go ahead and see that video up there for that. But that's it. That's pretty much it. The Charles Schwab Platinum Cashback Trifecta is definitely something that plays multiple roles that should be considered. Now, once again, I did not compare this to Chase or any other cashback trifectas or bifectas or superfectas or one card setups or whatever else you want to say. This is not what he did. The fact is that this one works for my Amex loyalists who have decided that the trifecta is the way that they want to roll. But I'm not gonna hold you here any longer. Please, by all means, I'm gonna go ahead and put up a playlist here and one of my videos here so that you can check them both out, because I've done extensive playlists and extensive videos on the Charles Schwab Platinum Card and Platinum Cards in general. So hopefully that will light your way. But until next time, I'll catch you later.